everyone. Welcome to another episode of Appropriate Productions, the high-resolution, low-brow, apolitically correct freedom of speech art company. In this episode, we take another look, the third-part review of I Killed Giants, chapters 3 and 4. To warn you, the story takes a darker twist here and puts our protagonist through some serious stuff. It's going to be a good episode. Thanks for watching, everyone. And here we have part 3 of I Killed Giants. Start off with a can on the street. Oh, gnome hiding. He's running off someplace. Almost got stepped on. What's the hurry, furry? Asks our, frankly, very geeky protagonist. But geeky's cool. No one's here. You don't have to hide. Oh, really, Miss Tall and Steely? You're hiding. Oh, I'm not yet, right? I like that the gnomes and fairies talk smack to our hero. That's proper. That's good. They shouldn't just be like super friendly and nice and everything. That's kind of dull. Conflict is interesting. You know, you get too much conflict, and it passes the threshold of stress, and it's more than a person can handle. But if you don't have any conflict, it's just like it's boring. It's dull. It's like a painting of white on white with white in a white frame. There's nothing happening, nothing to learn from, nothing to be it's like if you only eat salt, you'll die really, really quickly. But if you never eat salt, you'll also die. Like, you gotta have a little bit in the between. Anyway, I think everybody gets where I'm going with this. I could ramble all day. So here is our protagonist hanging out, talking about with a therapist, talking about how she made a friend. See, I'm normal. That's what she's saying. She's well adjusted and wears nice clothes, but I don't hold it against her. So see, I'm normal. Can I go back to class? Do you have many friends like Sophia? Right. The protagonist thinks that most people are dumb, which just shows she might be onto something. What about your sister Karen? Is she dumb? What a shot. It's a good picture. It's so simple. There's nothing going on. There's no crazy technique or anything happening, but it really took her out of her game. You can see it. Like Robin Williams just dropped some crazy invasive line on Matt Damon, and he's just got nothing left. Disarmed him completely with a question. No, she's not dumb like other people. She's special. Does she make you angry about other people? Like other people? What about your brother? Family is strike 2 territory, Miss Mall. She wants to know more about her. She's like, Barbara goes, I have a file, right? Just read that. Doesn't like talking about her feelings. And it looks like our protagonist Barbara has made friends with the local Antifa chapter for high school. Get in trouble. Oh, someone steals her book. Not her book, her what do you call it? Her magical symbol to fight giants with? That's pretty serious business for Barbara. I wouldn't mess with that. Whoa. So the gym teacher takes one of Barbara's things, and Barbara's pissed. She's pissed. Miss Lakey, did you always know that you were a bull dyke? Look at the lines and everything. In comics, this is usually what happens when somebody's charging at somebody, if a serious action's about to happen, if somebody's charging up a fireball to shoot or something. But in this comic, it happens because our hero, Barbara, is a badass and talks some serious smash. Or is that something you figured out after your first vagina? Like, she's face removed, just stunned. You... and she takes it back. She doesn't know what to do. Principal's office. I know the way. Next time, just give me the F. So, Barbara's not the best... Certainly not a scene to aspire towards, I think. This isn't Barbara's best moment. But I like it. It's good storytelling, good character building, shows weakness, that it's not something that's always right. That it's a good character. Robin Hood is someone that you might want to aspire to. Some people, some personality types would see Robin Hood as someone to aspire to, and yet if you write the story, if you build the character in a way that there's nothing to avoid, the characters are shallow somehow. It's an interesting thing about storytelling. You can't just have what we would call today a Mary Sue, somebody who's flawless and only ever makes good decisions and only ever takes the right path and makes all the right moves and has all the best friends and all the best power. That's a boring story. There's nothing to learn from because no human has ever grown up and been anything close to that. In fact, I'd say we're honest with ourselves, we're probably a little closer to fault than we are to perfection. It's the journey that's interesting, not the end game. And that's why characters like Barbara here are so compelling, because of scenes like this. You want to shake your head at her. At the same time, I'm proud of I'm not proud, that's probably too strong a word, but I'm impressed is probably a better word. I'm impressed with this. Disagree with her, but I'm impressed at the same time. She's standing up to somebody who's pushing her down. She's being tough. She's not taking any shit. And from a teacher, no less. That's tough, man. Only she's young, and she's doing it. I mean, this is ugly. Everything about this panel is ugly. The reason why she's doing it, I think, is genuine and true, but the way she's going about it, because she's just a dumb little kid still, not to speak nothing of the stress she's under. She's a giant killer, for God's sakes. She's got too much going on. She's not handling it with the kind of grace that you would hope for, and that makes the character interesting. You can see that she's doing this right. She's standing up. She's getting her thing back that was taken from her by an authority figure who should have known better. But she's doing it in a way like the style, Barbara, what the fuck? And here we have yet another expression of Antifa goon waiting in the lurching is movement, lurking in the shadows. And here we have another conversation with the principal. In fact, I was pretty close to Barbara at my age, Jesus. Speak English, James. When I was in grade school, I got into trouble all of the time. And usually it was for dumb things, like if a kid kicked my ass in grade school, it became understood that because I was so frequently getting my ass kicked, it was probably because I was instigating it and must be really bad at fights. These kids would come up from behind. It was like a pastime if they were bored or something. I just started a new school and I did not fit in well, you could say. But it happened so frequently that I was sent to the principal's office with the presumption that if James is always getting into fights, then it must be because he's looking for fights. I really wasn't. I've been a bouncer, never had to throw a punch or use physical violence. I'm not a physical kind of guy, if I can avoid it at all. But having to go to the principal's office so frequently, I definitely I got attitude like Barbara. If I'm going to be treated unfairly, then I'm going to put my feet up on the principal's table and eat all the candies out of his bowl while he's making these accusations of my character. I too did not handle grade school well. I was like an infamous, antagonistic, geeky loser kid. I don't know if all of that makes sense, if it fits in together, but I managed to pull it off. Or try to, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, that was a whole lot of rambling, but I definitely identify a lot with this scene. Certainly. It's a good way to build character and standing on your own 2 feet. Even if you're, as a kid, I probably did it wrong. The way I went about it was wrong all the time, just like this past scene. But it's a personality trait and skill set that I value in myself quite a bit now. That this eventually leads to being able to speak honestly to police officers if you think they're out of line, In a way with composure as well. Eventually, with composure, it takes probably 20 years after this. Man, this is why I love the story so much. We're still listening to part 3. And just a simple page like this can speak volumes. It's what's in between the stories, what's in between the panels, it's not just what's drawn, but it's what's not drawn, you know, and what you can infer from the story based on just a simple image like this. You know, page spread. Sorry, I got lost track. Sort of reminiscing of my own time in high school, which is another great part of a good story, is it drags you back to when you were at that time in the story. I don't get any of this reminiscing from mainstream comic books. If I read a Marvel or DC comic book, it usually feels like a chore nowadays. This is a joy. Look at how much time I've spent just babbling on about this one page. So here we have Barbara gets a little note. She's surprised. Sophia wants to know if they're still friends. It makes her very happy. And this is all the stuff going on in her head because she's frankly quite crazy. I think we can agree at this point. Barbara's kind of nuts. But it's an endearing kind of nuts. Her imagination's just exploding. And she can't contain it, so it's, you know, represented in all these little, there's spirits and magical mice and demons and all kinds of fairies and gnomes and stuff just all over the place. She's happy that she still has her friend. She's going to hold on to it, I guess, inside of her. I got to figure out the word for this. This magical item that she uses. Oh, she activates whatever it is that's inside this magical item. I'm sorry, I forgot myself, my holy quest, the sanctity of the seal. It won't happen again. And here she is. And all of a sudden, all the magical stuff that was just here a second ago disappears completely. And she's just isolated. Another great picture. This is when, I just totally didn't even notice, but it was panels like this, that sequences, I suppose, ending in panels like this, that really drew me into the art style. Again, the technique, it's so rough. Like I'm used to, you know, Barry Windsor Smith or Jim Lee or Ethan Van Sciver. These guys are pure technique. It's part of the joy of enjoying their artwork. It's just getting lost in the style. You can see how much effort and time and focus, so much focus in the artwork of the guys I mentioned. They might take an entire day on a panel, and it looks like this took maybe an hour and a half or so. But it's perfect for the story. It's perfect, you know? It's almost like the absence of technique promotes the idea of what's happened in the story as much as Ethan Van Sciver's focus on technique promotes his stories. And she's made an ass of herself again at school. She's very embarrassed. I'm talking to Miss Mall. And she's trying to build a connection or a bond, and Barbara's not having it. She wants to talk about the things that make Barbara afraid and sad. Like what's going on at home, maybe, with Karen and Dave and something? I think we need to talk about, and you can see this is so clever. In the background is that open window or door frame or something. You can't even quite tell what it is, but it's just vaguely in the background, just behind her head, but it's an image from at home, that crazy scene that happens when she makes too much noise. Jesus, I forgot about this. Yeah, I was never anywhere near this fucked up. Barbara's a little mess. She's not handling life very well. I think Miss Mall's starting to figure out what she's dealing with. Barbara's got issues well beyond her ability to handle. Clearly. This is a great sequence. Kids having fun. Monster. Kids eating lunch. Barbara's unfazed. Outside, Barbara unfazed. On the bus ride, walk home. bench, unfazed, monster. It's like a messed up Calvin and Hobbes sequence. She ends the day with her armor on. And yeah, the gnomes are, they're in there with the rest of the audience. They're realizing Barbara's pretty fucked in the head. She was cute and sweet, but now she's also kind of, what's going on here? It's kind of like she's seeing the demon in the sky. And then boom, perfect timing. Her own giant, the school giant, shows up and takes one, puts one in her face. She's taking attacks from Barbara. Barbara gets in a good fat joke. Taylor the giant charges. Gets another shot. Slaps her in the face. Now she's going into the pennant. I think that's the word for it. We're going to go with pennant. Barbara's magical giant hunting icon. And that drives her nuts. Don't touch that. I would not mess with Barbara today. Bites her. Like, that's messed. I got bit once in grade school in a fight. That kid was kind of crazy. And yeah, you can be twice somebody's size, but if you're getting them on their worst day and they're squirrely, like don't do it. Don't do it. Conviction, man. Conviction goes a lot farther in a fight than anyone will ever give credit to. I think, like, Brock Lesnar could crush Woody Allen on most days, but if his kids are kidnapped by Brock Lesnar and Brock Lesnar's talking smack in front of Woody Allen, man, Woody Allen's gonna pull some crazy shit out. He's gonna do some you won't see it coming. Woody Allen won't see it coming. Oof. See, I'm using a fictional situation to prove my thesis of fighting and conviction. Somebody grabs Barbara and tells her this. I mean, Jesus Christ. And now Barbara's punching her best friend Sophia. Which actually only makes the goofy giant Taylor happy. Barbara's having the worst day of her life. So far. And that's perfect. Come on. Yes. Are we still friends? Love, Sophia. Yes. Come on. Oh, that's a damn near perfect panel right there. And there's nothing to it. I bet you I could draw that in like 15 minutes. But my brain would never come up with the composition of the frame and the picture like that. It's so good. Oh. And this is a nice trick with the panels. I've never seen this. Maybe I'm sure I have, but I haven't recognized it. So you'll notice here, the panel is completely enclosed by the page, but here it goes off. It's sort of like it's endless, as far as the page is concerned. It's sort of like for Barbara, although maybe Sophia as well, because it goes off the page, it's like this moment lasts forever. She's just frozen and mortified. And then here as well, when she realizes Sophia's run off and how much her anger has cost her in this day. That moment of self-reflection, like an epic version of when you throw the remote at the TV, because you just tried to jump over the hole with Mario 3 times in a row. And in an instant, for just a millisecond, your lizard brain thinks, this video game and this remote control are against me. There's a betrayal. And you're like, I'll teach this goddamn thing. And then in midair, that Nintendo reverts back to the reality of the fact that it's just a Nintendo, and your lizard brain slips back out of control, and you're like, oh, this is the expression I do before it even hits the TV. Every time. I've never once done that, of course, though. That's just something I've heard from a friend. The signs. You're coming, aren't you? Soon. That's the end of part 3. Jesus, this comic is crazy and intense. And look at the style it's working with, too. So, kiddish. It looks like the person could have been drawing this Like, the style and technique is a high school level, but the composition is so advanced and professional. Here we have this again. Panel going off the page forever. This house is frozen in time. She's having a conversation with her sister. Her sister's pretty pissed. She's also upset that she got a phone call from Moll, the school psychologist. She's kind of upset with protagonist Barbara. And now her sister's pretty pissed off. Because she slapped a teacher in the face. And yeah, I think she's in the right. Oh, the burn. I never hit a teacher. They don't get paid enough for that kind of abuse. She's a psychologist. Oh shit. Oh, I see. I wasn't sure what happened there. Sorry for the moment of pause there. That's really professional on my part. So Karen's all pissed off, the older sister, and she slams her hand on the table into a hot pan. Gets all burnt. I hope you washed your hands before scalding them at my dinner. Karen, I'm just kidding. What's happening to us? How in the hell am I supposed to do this alone? Dad's God knows where. You two just don't grow up and help me. I just can't. I cannot deal with you going psycho, Barbara. Well, upstairs are... That's a cool effect. It reminds me of the name of the character Uma Thurman plays in Kill Bill. You know, something so big it's unspeakable. Only I think this might be done... I like this a little better, personally. Not to besmirch the great Quentin Tarantino. This is completely out of context, but if you happen to be on Twitter, I highly recommend following a fellow named Tintin Quarantino, just because of the name. I did it. His stuff is okay, but the name alone is great. Tintin Quarantino. I digress. Here they are at dinner, and she's talking, just losing it about the subject that no one may speak of. The brother, sullen, the monster, returning, Barbara. Here she is making some kind of award. The fairy comes and compliments her. Someone's an eager beaver. Nice work. How do you know? How do you know it's nice work? Giants are stupid, but are they this stupid? Fall in the night, sharp rocks. And sticks, please. Oh, Jesus. She's cutting herself. Like, this is not a kid's book, you know? Jesus. Is that part of the trap? Is that necessary, miss? She doesn't know. And here she is trying to make things up with Sophia. Wow, you look like you got hit by a level 10 beholder. Or some feral girl who needs a new prescription in her glasses. Ha ha ha. She wants to know if she can sit with her and say sorry. Sophia runs off. She's being summoned to go talk to Miss Moll. She's having a... Man. Clearly Barbara's nuts. I mean, clearly. I don't think there's any question there. I just gotta plug my phone in 1 second. That's not gonna work. This video might not last. Having a bad day. But, Miss Moll is not going to make things better. She's pretty understanding, though, all things considered. She just got smacked in the face by a student. She's still back the next day trying to talk to her. That's a stand-up act right there. Barbara's being a, pain in the ass. She's not afraid of the things in her life, though, because she's got the Kovaleski, the great warhammer, with which she can stop any giant. She can stop death itself. She doesn't want to share it or show it. When Kovaleski speaks, the world cries. And here's Trollish Taylor trying to turn Sophia. Taylor's saying that crazy people don't have friends, really. You've seen her all whacked out, right? Sophia's like, yeah, I guess. Sophia says the giant stuff is crazy. Taylor says, I like you. I'll tell you a secret if you tell me about the crazy stuff you've seen. I know a secret about Barbara's mother. And here's Barbara getting off the school bus at the end of the day at work, or the end of the day of school. Work, I suppose, for kids. Boom. Her neighborhood is overcome with harbingers. When death is on the march. These huge monsters, beasts. They're ruining her traps in bed. Oh, the Taylor's ruining her traps. Ruining her protections and wards. And she sees Sophia there too. She suggests that she stops, or, Barbara's going to kill the other students. Makes sense? You gonna kill her too? Tell us about your stupid junk down here, your traps. Kovaleski, she warns Taylor that Kovaleski's about to speak. That's some serious shit. Sophia's getting nervous. And she pulls out from her Kovaleski Warhammer bag this stupid tiny little hammer. Home run hammer. And boom! Boom! She just gets cracked in the face with the stick. Man! Taylor is not fucking around. Take care, you little idiot. Next time I'll kill. Boom! A stomp to the face and she blacks out. That's a sound beating. That's a beating. Barbara wakes up. Sophia is at home. She's visiting Barbara. She's scared. Barbara says, come here slowly. If you're quiet, we can get past it. Don't let it see you. And Sophia runs. Barbara's terrified. Just get out of the house. Just get out of the house. Jesus Christ, this is so intense. She's sneaking. And then hears a crackled voice, Barbara? Fuck. I glare out of there. Look at that. Fucking, there's nothing childlike about that. That's terror right there. Finally, into chapter 4, we get to see the thing that terrifies our protagonist so much. She's screaming for her. Oh my God. It's crawling out of bed towards her, please. And Barbara slams the door. End of chapter 4. That's heavy, man. That took a lot out of me just to fucking read again. This is a heavy-duty story. This is reminding me of a friend of mine who's... Yeah. This is a serious story. Man. I Kill Giants, chapters 3 and 4. That is the end of the third part review of I Kill Giants, a heavy-duty story written by and drawn by some heavy-duty storytellers. I feel a tad breathless and speechless, just like there's a knot in my stomach after reading that. This is a heavy, heavy topic handled very carefully by some people who do it at the top of the game. I really gotta check out that movie. This has been the third part of the review of I Kill Giants by Appropriated Productions. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay apolitically correct and have a good day.